Okay, in this video we're going to play a fun little game, and it's called Fragments versus Sentences. But first off, what's the difference? Let's start with this guy right here, sentence. Sentences are key, they're the building blocks, but what makes a sentence a sentence? First off, a sentence must have a subject and a verb. And that's it. That's all it needs to be a complete 100% sentence. It doesn't have to have direct objects, indirect objects, and prepositional phrases. It can, but as long as you have subject and verb, that is a sentence. All of this stuff put together, direct object, indirect object, preposition, those do not make a sentence unless they have these two guys. So therefore, our fragment are words that do not have both a subject and a verb. So they do not have both of these. So circle that for both, and boom, they do not have both of them. They could have one of them, could have a subject but no verb. They could have a verb but no subject, and therefore they're not sentences, they are fragments. So if you got that, let's play the game. Fragments versus sentences. Here we have inside Tom's house. Okay, what's the subject? Tom's house. Well, wait a second. There's the preposition. Big problem. Why? Tom's house is part of the prepositional phrase. Where's the subject? That's not the subject. That's not a sentence. Wow. Through with the red pen. Next, hit the ball to Peter. Who hit the ball to Peter? Don't know exactly, because the who would be the subject, and there is no subject. Hence, both of these are fragments. Next, the biggest house in the world. The biggest house in the world. That's great. The biggest house. That is our subject. Here's our prepositional phrase. But wait a second. What happened to our verb? We don't know. This is not a sentence. So far, 0 for 3. All fragments. Now, let's see what happens. Well, look at this. This is a sentence. Ice melts. It's so small. But wait a second. Sentences have subjects. Ice. What's melting? The verb. The ice. Ice melts. Subject, verb, ding, 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 ding. That is a sentence. A very tiny, bare-bones sentence, but there you have it. Next, running down the street. Great. Who? Who, what? Nobody knows. Just running down the street is not a sentence. We need the subject. Look at this one. He ran down the streets. Aha. There's our subject. He. There's our verb. And that's really all we need. There's our sentence. Ding, ding, ding. And thank you for playing Fragments versus Sentences. Now, to learn even more on fragments and sentences, we're going to, if you look at another video coming up, it's called dependent clauses. And it talks about independent and dependent clauses. So you can always watch that one, come back and watch this one again. But they work together because really quickly, I'll say this much. Sentences are called independent clauses. To learn what fragments are and to learn more, go to the video entitled Dependent Clauses. But for now, thanks for playing Fragments versus Sentences.